50 Cent has disclosed that he had another video of Diddy supposedly linking him to Tupac Shakur's murder. Diddy is also in a panic. Netflix has received a cease and desist request from Diddy's attorneys to remove the 50's documentary series. Furthermore, 50 is reportedly claiming that Diddy is threatening him.
So this is what Diddy doing, y'all. Alright, the diddler has sent 50 Cent some damn flowers while he locked up, bro. Alright, we all know Diddy is mad about this whole docu-series that 50 put out on Netflix and is #1 going crazy, so you know he mad. Now, according to 50, alright, these are some warning flowers. Y'all know how Diddy used to get down. You know, he used to send people shit in the mail. He'll send a nigga to blow up a car. Y'all know how he get down. So if he mad, clearly he's mad about this documentary. Bro sent 50 some flowers at his hotel while he was in Miami, bro. Now, I ain't gonna show the address on these flowers, but 50 posted the whole address. Now, in the caption, 50 said, "What kind of gay shit is this? Diddy send me flowers at Club 11, LOL. LOL, why all the foreplay? Get busy, you know I'm stupid." Then he commented again and said, "A warning, I'm 90s grimy. You don't warn me, LOL." So y'all know why Diddy sent this. He ain't send it because he happy or proud of 50 for dropping this goddamn docuseries on his demon ass.
Combs' attorneys are now demanding that Netflix remove the series and threatening legal action, alleging that Netflix is exploiting stolen film that was never approved for broadcast as part of what they describe as a despicable hit piece. Director Alex Stapleton and Combs' longtime rival Curtis 50 Cent Jackson are executive producing the series. Stapleton stated, "We obtained the footage legally and have the necessary rights." Stapleton and Jackson spoke with host Robin Roberts to talk about the series prior to yesterday's cease and desist demand.
Tonight, lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs trying to stop the release of a Netflix docuseries due out today. The series contains never-before-seen footage of Combs debating strategy with his lawyers in the days leading up to his arrest in New York last year. It also includes video of Combs greeting fans in Harlem.
I'll accept it.
And then saying this about the interaction moments later.
I need some hand sanitizer. Hold on. I got it. I've been out in the streets amongst the people. Yeah, I gotta take a bath. Like the amount of people that actually I'm coming in contact with, like that's what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? Oh. It's like 150 hugs.
Now, Combs' lawyers are demanding Netflix pull the series, threatening legal action, claiming Netflix is using stolen footage that was never authorized for release as part of what they call a shameful hit piece. The series is executive produced by Combs' longtime rival, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and director Alex Stapleton, who said, quote, "We obtained the footage legally and have the necessary rights," end quote. Before the cease and desist demand was sent yesterday, Stapleton and Jackson sat down with our Robin Roberts to discuss the series.
How do you respond to people who say that it's more about the disdain that you have for Sean Combs than it is for giving the victims a platform?
It's not personal.
The show is not completely the perspectives of people that did not like Sean. Not everyone needed to have an allegation to be a part of this.
How do you react to those who claim that it's more about your contempt for Sean Combs than it is about providing a voice for the victims? It's that intimate. The viewpoints of those who disliked Sean are not entirely represented in the show. To participate in this, not everyone had to have an accusation. Nobody is aware of how 50 obtained this video. And there's no doubt about it. None of this was anticipated by Diddy. Included were his most intimate moments, in which he collaborated with his attorneys to discredit witnesses, as well as interviews in which the witnesses discussed Diddy's offer to compensate them for being silent. Worst of all, Diddy made every effort to hide this footage.
So let's start at the top with the hotel video, which I did a double take because I thought, wait a minute, isn't this 50's documentary? What is he doing with video from inside Diddy's hotel room, which clearly looks to be sanctioned by Diddy? It almost looks like Diddy was shooting a documentary. He thought this whole thing might go away and just wanted to have some really good content for afterwards. How the hell did this video get in the hands of 50 Cent, the arch nemesis of Diddy?
Well, I think it was delivered legally, supposedly what they're saying. I think what happened was that when he did this video in the hotel, he was probably thinking that he was going to probably be acquitted and he was going to probably get out and he could probably run back his last days that before he got arrested so he can use that for some footage later on. But it sort of backfired on him because now I don't think he wanted it to get out. And plus, he's in an appeal process right now where he's trying to get out from under this. He's still appealing his case, and this sort of brings back old memories, you know?
Let me ask you this, Derek. Somebody real close to Diddy was holding that camera because Diddy didn't have people in his inner circle, in his hotel room, saying things like this unless they were close to him. And yet, whoever owns that copyright, whoever had their hands on that video, did him dirty, you know, and gave it to his enemy. Why and how do you think that happened?
Well, I think the person that probably did the video footage wanted to get some recognition for having that type of footage. And I think, I don't know if they signed a no-compete clause or an NDA, but that person turned that over apparently, and it went to 50 for the documentary, which he used.
The story's most startling aspect is how 50 is yet unfinished. 50 Cent acknowledged that he has additional footage to prove Diddy's lies in an interview that was only made public a few hours ago. There are rumors that a second segment that delves further into Diddy's involvement with children may be posted on YouTube. After it was discovered that Diddy was responsible for both the hit on Tupac and the murder of Biggie Smalls, who regarded Puffy as one of their closest friends, everyone in the music business distanced themselves from Diddy. Diddy was responsible for everything, including the 1994 Quad studio shoot and the East Coast/West Coast conflict between Biggie and Tupac. Biggie and Tupac both had suspicions about him.
I think Puffy was involved in the shooting.
Only they can answer that question. I have my own opinion, but I wouldn't slander their name like they did mine. I wouldn't say things that I knew, you know what I mean? I believe so. I do believe so. I have proved things that I can say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time he say it didn't happen, or that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody. Because you seen what I said in the Vibe article. I basically bowed out and was going to go ahead about my life. The next issue, that wasn't even the next issue because them cowards waited about 4 issues before they got their story together. 4 issues later, half of New Yorkers commenting on me getting shot. And before, they was all like, we didn't see nothing. In the first issue, we did, Vibe viewers. Nobody seen shit. The 4th issue, when they came back with a reply, everybody knew what I did. They knew what I said. I was acting. Who gets shot 5 times in acts? Oh, I didn't get shot 5 times in their vision. I only got shot once because they found the bullet. The police found it, but now they the cops. Now they doing detective work. They found the bullet. Oh, you found the bullet, huh? So what is this other shit in me then? What was the doctors talking about? What? Can you explain these other holes in me? How'd I get gunpowder all over me? That insulted my intelligence. So yes, I did say Thug Life was there. Yes, I bowed out, all of that. But when they said that, they breathed new life.
Puffy was envious of Biggie and Tupac because he never possessed their talent. Biggie was Bad Boy's biggest star at the moment. Diddy recognized he couldn't allow Biggie and Tupac to get friendly. According to the documentary, Puffy increased tensions after realizing he couldn't keep these two titans apart using conventional methods. This was the scene of the 1994 shooting. When Tupac came for a late-night session on November 30th, 1994, he was repeatedly robbed in the lobby of Quad Recording Studios in Manhattan. Although none of P's jewelry was taken, the official police report stated that it was a robbery.
I think my favorite thing about 50 Cent's Netflix Diddy documentary is how he built a timeline off of this information. And one of my favorite parts of this documentary is them really getting into the timeline of events when it comes to Tupac and Biggie. And it really gives us a lot of perspective from people that were close to the situation, and a lot of people allege in this documentary that they believe that Diddy was very jealous of Tupac. And they pretty much go through everything from the Quad incident and Tupac believing that Puffy was behind it, like he said in the Vibe interview, and they lay out this whole timeline of the downfall happening perfectly, in my opinion. We are even hearing from Greg Kading, the detective that worked on Tupac and Biggie's case in this documentary. He is the investigator that did that proffer agreement with Keefe D way back in 2008, where Keefe D alleged that Diddy tried to offer him $1 million to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. And Tupac's trial with Keefe D is coming up very soon in early 2026. And we know that Diddy's name has been dropped at least 200 times during these proceedings already. So this is one case that I am definitely waiting for and I am going to cover. In KPD's 2008 proffer agreement, he alleged that Diddy's friend Zip Martin is the one that gave him the weapon that was used to take out Tupac. KPD told the investigator Greg Kading that Zip Martin had a special compartment to keep this weapon in his car that he drove to Las Vegas. And in this documentary, we have Greg Kading confirming that Zip Martin did drive the same type of vehicle that KPD alleged to Las Vegas this night. And then during this documentary, we heard from the former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burroughs, who alleged during this time, Diddy had him hiring a whole bunch of people and getting cars to drive to Las Vegas. And he is now very curious into why Diddy wanted to do this. And he said in his opinion, he now believes that Diddy was behind taking out Tupac.
During this period, Gene Deal was in charge of keeping Diddy safe, and he was aware of everything that was happening behind the scenes. He was the one pulling the strings that ultimately resulted in Biggie and Pac's deaths, and he was aware that Puffy was envious.
I think that hate stemmed from wanting to be him, idolize a motherfucker, he idolized Tupac because you got to realize when a woman looked at Tupac, they probably wanted him. Puff wasn't getting that type of fever from girls. You understand what I'm saying? Puff had to use his money. Puff had to use his position in order to get women. Now, I seen him with some bad joints. And I used to look at them like this, like, not on no hating shit, but like, you wouldn't be here if he wasn't puffed. If this nigga had no money, you would not be coming out of his room like that. And that's for real, for real. You understand? I'll be like, yo, when I had to, because most of the time, I would walk some of them to the door, walk them to get their cabs or whatever like that. Or, take them down the street and get their cabs and everything like that. And I'd be like, I'd be laughing. I just kept a smile on my face when it came to that shit. Because I know for a fact, because he said it himself. He said, I don't know how to talk to women. I don't know how to talk to girls. You understand? I said, you don't have to know how to talk to nobody. You're a millionaire. You got it. So he was jealous of Pac because Pac ain't had to do that. Pac had that aura, you know what I'm saying? And he probably knew how to communicate with women. And most women who he talked to that said stuff, said about it.
Diddy's career took off following Pac's passing. The person who benefited most by Pac's passing was him. Diddy eventually came to the conclusion that Biggie wasn't necessary and that Biggie might eventually turn into a rival. Numerous insiders claim that Diddy and Biggie's relationship had already begun to change. Biggie was becoming more independent, powerful, and influential. Diddy became anxious as a result.
Been insinuations in the past. They played video clips of, Sean Combs being asked in prior interviews in the 90s and 2000s, do you know who these men? Did you have any involvement? He's always denied it. To be clear, these are just allegations. But yeah, that was really, really shocking. And one of the sort of a little bit more of the backstory behind his alleged involvement with Tupac was that a lot of the interviewees in the documentary were saying that Biggie, who was signed with Bad Boy and who was really close with Diddy at the time, was starting to form a friendship with Tupac, and they were getting really close. And a lot of the interviewees were saying, in their view, Diddy didn't really appreciate that. So I think a lot of the themes that you see again is coming up as him sort of wanting and needing to be the number one person in people's lives, whether it was personal, business. And it's really interesting because you see a lot of the themes that, again, the prosecution was trying to push forward that we saw in his personal life with Cassandra Ventura, always needing to be number one, not necessarily regarding the damages he's doing to other people in the prosecution's eyes, right? Playing out in the business sense. So the backstory is that he didn't appreciate the friendship that was forming between Biggie and Tupac, and therefore, that's where his alleged involvement came in. And then when, in terms of the non-payment, I think that was also a really shocking moment as well, because that's something we saw happening over and over in the documentary. Multiple people who were saying, I was cheated out of my share in the company. I wasn't paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. And allegedly, that's sort of how he treated the artists that were on his label. So again, it's the theme of always wanting to be number one and, not necessarily giving people their due, business sense or personal sense.
The East Coast-West Coast conflict reached its height following Tupac's passing. Biggie felt as though someone was pursuing him and was receiving death threats.
One of your big stars right now. Yeah. How much are you exaggerating with you now as a rapper when people coming to get you?
I ain't exaggerating at all, man. That's real, son. That's real, yo. I ain't exaggerating at all, man. The more money you make, the more problems you get. And jealousy and envy is just something that comes with the territory, man. A lot of people, it's just negative energy, like my man Puff say. It just surrounds you. It makes you depressed, you know? So I gotta rap about it. And that's one of the bad things about the game is when you get large, even your friends will turn against you, man. So I made a song about it.
But I mean, how real is your threat of like people constantly coming and wanting to shoot you?
Man, I mean, that's real. I think about that every day. Every day it's real. That's how real it is. I think somebody's trying to waking up paranoid. I'd be really scared. I'd just be paro. That's just the way I am. You know. You be seeing me. Scared to death.
He most likely had no idea who was pursuing him. Diddy was the one who made Biggie travel to Los Angeles following Tupac's passing. Biggie was supposed to travel to London, but Diddy had him go to Los Angeles even though he knew something terrible would happen. Diddy later had him stay and attend a party where Biggie was present. Following Biggie's passing, Diddy rose to prominence in hip-hop and became one of America's most influential music executives. This was verified by Bad Boy co-founder Kirk Burroughs.
I seen an interview that Puffy did with Fat Joe where he was talking about Biggie in his last moments in LA, and he told Fat Joe that he didn't want to go to LA, he actually wanted to go to London. But Biggie, he was the one that wanted to go to LA, and he was the one that was pushing to go to LA.
That's not true. My name is Kirk Burroughs. I ran Bad Boy Entertainment. I helped co-found it. I created the company with him. I raised from general manager to president. And at that time, I put all of those business plans together. And Biggie didn't want to go to LA, ended up going. What got him out there was a week ahead of time to ease him into the whole award show. He may not have wanted to go to London, but was talked into it. First time ever a rapper of your stature getting this treatment, that would be something he would be interested in doing, but he was easily talked out of it by Sean so that they can make an appearance at an event in LA that Saturday night. A part of the posturing of not only did we come to the award show, not only am I recording my album out here, and Big is gonna help me with some of the writing and maybe do something out here where me and him did this song in LA. I'm out on the town. And it was just too much.